Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Alright, this video isn't going to be too much, but it's just literally just a short little video of my evolution of my character and my drawing styles. I will also say, for anyone that is curious, you can now read the digital version of Dead End Sidekick for free on Global Comics. So if you want to try this out, if you find the art evolution, best way to help me out is to read the book and share it with your friends. So let's start off with this one. I always like using this one because this is the original design of Blockade. Yes, this is my art writing. And you want to know when this came out? October 19th, 2021. Now, if we're going to compare that to my YouTube channel, I had a couple of YouTube videos that by now. I was 19 years old when this came out. I'm not kidding. This was 5 years ago. A little bit less than 5 years ago. So it's always just a fun one to start off with. And then I'm gonna show, I always had these kind of weird roundish muscles, so my arm would be kind of a rectangle, and then to make it more dense I just drew curves around to have these muscles. Did it work? No, they kind of look a little bit off. And then there was this one. This is just my D&D character. I like drawing him time to time, and I'll also kind of show him along. And it definitely was different. And then by this time, I would probably be illustrating myself the comic book. So it was interesting. But at this time, I was working at a news station, so I had these times to just do doodles. I did some on a little post-it note tab. We have this, which is, something. Let's just kind of get into it. So the jaw, honestly, it's probably just a thick outline that makes it look like this, but it's not the end of the world. Obviously, I would probably, when I send out the jaw, shrink the front part of the face, and obviously not have the ear kind of going way off the side, but it was an attempt, and I think that was all right. And this would be probably the first ever Pulse character. Here is our first Intel thing. This was one of the original ideas for Intel. He has some goofy looking glasses. We can tell later, and by showing this, it's a little bit different. Here, you know what? I'll put this in. This is design work by. This was one of the first ideas of Dead End Sidekick or Pulse that we had. We had this crowbar. We actually have a little explanation on the changes that we made for the final product, and it was not what we were wanting, and we switched it up. Definitely an improvement, and I really like this gritty art style with hatching, and I was definitely in my hatching phase. I gave him this weird, interesting hairstyle that I did not keep. But to be honest, there's some problems. Obviously, the ears and the nose is just incredibly small. I think I just talked about this, but you know what? It was an improvement. And then here's another one. This is a smaller doodle. I think because of the smaller, you can obviously see that I'm doing this Loomis method to try and have the ear or have the anatomy better, but it still has a long ways to go. I think that this is a little bit better, but this long jawline is not it. Here's some characters. This was one of the first concepts of Sunray that I had. Very, very, like I said earlier, I'm really into hatching. Still strong jawline and like this wide, very pointy. And you know, that hairstyle is a little bit close, but it's just super spiky that we changed with. Here's one that I thought was one of my best ideas. This is fast tap. Obviously the anatomy is still off and the nose is just not, is still super small, but I really like this. You can see how this kind of reflected. Here's one that I did. This is the blockade. This is before we switched. We had this kind of hoodie look, or this kind of interesting look, and have the triangle, but and I think that it was good, but like my kneecap is showing in the front end, which when it's pointed to the side, that's not how that looks. This is fun. I'm having fun with this, and obviously we didn't keep this. We actually inverted it. Here's one of Sunray unmasked. I kind of like this one. I liked how she looked. Here's a different one with some slight modifications. I did like her hair. I liked how I intentionally, you know, she's a doctor and a doctor and hero, so she's gonna have a tired look. Right now, let's go into March, where I'm still liking this. I kind of like how I have the stylization, you know. I kind of like the nose. I like how his nose looks. There's some anatomy errors, like you can't see the chest unless it's like skin tight, or the pecs, and the shoulders are a little bit weird. But overall, this was a pretty good one. Obviously, then the thing on your tendon, I think that's what it's called, doesn't go that far back. But overall, I think that this was a pretty good improvement. And then we go into 2020, and then we go into May with this one. Now, I would be candid with you. This is probably one of the best improvements in a 2-month basis in terms of it. Like, look at this. The ear is a lot larger and a lot more to scale. The jaw is a little bit back, but like the nose and the eyes, the lips look a little bit better. I had this weird trend of having making sure that you see the line of the lip. That's something that I don't need, but it's it was a pretty good improvement. And the shading was also, I really loved. You can see still like some hatching lines, but I went with more of a finely tuned shading, and that was pretty good. Ooh, this one is one of my favorite fast tap drawings I've had in a long time. I started watching, this was at the time I was reading part 7 of JoJo's, and I was falling in love with it, and I really wanted to try and learn Araki style, so I tried to have his face more tuned to that. I started contouring, which is these lines. This is shading, not stuff. It's still a little bit ways to go, but you can see that he also had like fishnet collar thing, but I kind of changed that to just be a straight up collar. But the nose is much better. The ear is still a little bit short, but it's still pretty good. I think I did a great job with the shading. I have a good, I don't know what that part called, but it's the part right here. Maybe it's a little bit too shaded, but I'm still proud of this because this is in May. These 2 drawings alone were in May. Here's another one. This one looks a little bit like that other one that we did earlier, but this is in June. You still have the neck, and I'm still like highlighting making the. No, that's just the bottom of the lip. This is the top. I see. I have a much more sense. There is one big issue, and I want to see if you guys can see what the issue is. He has eyebrows. And that's something that will not be staying. Here's one that I did the last day. I kind of like the posing of this. This is obviously a lot closer to Blockade style. Not the cape. The cape is off, but this was pretty good. Here's another one that I did like of Blockade. I liked him. His head's a little bit small, but it's all right. My muscles have definitely improved for my anatomy. I still have those lines to highlight the muscle, but it's still, I think overall the anatomy makes better sense. But obviously, if you look a little bit, that some things don't add up. Here's another fun one that I gave a pulse. I like this one. This one's fun, but I didn't keep this. This one this one was one that I really liked. Do I have a higher? No, I do not have a higher res. I should have upgraded my res. PSA, upgrade your DPI or your resolution on your canvases. They helped so much out. Please understand that. Back to this. It's like kind of like a merging. Some parts shows the face, some parts not. It's still pretty nice. I really like this one. Here's the beginning design of Blind Shot. She looks, this one was the one that was a trend. Is that her hair in the back? Or is that a scarf? That might be a scarf. The hat stayed and the bangs kind of stayed. There are some giant changes though. Here's one of Intel. This one I kind of like, but I think I like my newer one better because it's less complicated but more recognizable. But keeps the similarity intact. Was the mask, the eye mask. She had a traditional eye mask and then I trained it into this. Now let's get something straight. My anatomy is not good here. The head anatomy is better, but the chest area is not as good. We kept some things. We kept the line. Her hair is probably just not matching the value. And we have these Ray-Ban like sunglasses. They don't. This isn't my favorite drawing, but it's pretty all right. But I'd like to talk about this. This one I really like this one. This one was very special to me because it was like one of the biggest panels. But let's get into why there are some errors with this. First of all, I really like to amplify the muscles, even though they don't always. Blockade doesn't always look like this. Blockade is a lot more bulkier, but his chest is not. His upper layer is not this big. It's a little bit smaller, and the legs should be longer. And the arms are probably look way longer than the legs. But honestly, this was to show he was strong, and I think you guys got the message. Oh, here's one that I had. I was originally going to give him like black stripes. I changed my mind because it's felt like a royal pain to do, so I didn't do it. Here's another one of Blind Shot. So I was thinking of giving her a poncho, and this flat cap kind of stayed. The line didn't. I don't know why I got rid of that. The poncho stayed. I tried to make her give off a more heavy look, or not heavy, but army look. But this one didn't stay, but I did like it. Now let's get into. This is probably what I would say the final design of Blind Shot as of now. I might do some like new outfits and whatnot, but overall I thought this was pretty good. This is like I was going for a Metal Gear Solid look of this. It's got the gun, it's got a knife, it's got this very like, she is a combat specialist or like a combat operative. And I liked it. I made her kind of. Okay, so this is a reference page and probably this This wasn't the final one because this still has the old sunglasses, but the hair is a lot more attuned. And obviously I'm going to be censoring that, but I had to change up the logo because, hey, you can't have this on a character, funnily enough. That's technically against international law, and I don't want to be held liable. So I changed up the design of her to change to the sun with an X to signify an X-ray, if you didn't understand that part. But she's a lot more muscular. I kind of like this. Here's another one. This is just a headshot of Sunray. This is my Sunray art, I guess. I kept this hair strand. I really like this hair strand. The hair goes down further. My ears so much better now. My noses are better. Jaw lines are even better. This looks like a rough draft, but like honestly, this was a pretty good step up from September. And during that time, I lost the jawline. Here's one that I kind of like, but I didn't keep. I really like. I think the hair is a little bit too weird. I kind of like the hair going backwards. I do like the beard, but I don't know how to draw beards and not at a fast time. He also looks like his 40s rather than his late 50s, and that's some of the reason why I changed it up. Okay, so this is a still of Blockade that I made. Height 6'3", weight 210 pounds. This charming man by the and favorite sport wrestling. I changed my mind about this because this was let's see, this was two to 3 years ago. I just disagree with that, but this is still, I like this. Obviously I made him a lot more leaner, but I like the anatomy. And I also gave him this little pendant to go around his neck, and I like that. I think I had that with the original panel, but his favorite sport's not wrestling. So this one I really like. Obviously I changed it up a little bit, but I really like this. And now we're gonna go into the next part. Pulse's hair and eyebrows still haven't been changed. Instead of having instead of going like a little bit of a swoop down, I just kind of made it go down. In terms of hair, my hair didn't do the trick, but you'll see soon. He still got eyebrows, and the ears are a little bit big, and then the clothing looks paper thin with a hoodie. And this time around, we actually have a hoodie for Pulse, so that's a little bit interesting. Still a little bit paper thin. This is a little bit of an adaptation or rework of the original one that I did a couple seconds ago. I like this. I like the colors. I like the thing. Eyebrows are still there, but it's still all right. All right, so here's one that I thought that definitely looks closer to the look of Intel, but there's one a little bit of a change. He doesn't have this. He has this on both sides, but that's a non-issue. The top part of his coat is now just brown, and the bottom part is now darts. I have this crooked nose that I gave him that stayed, and I like that. That was pretty cool. Yep, definitely should be skipping this part. Yep. Here's a more abstract or artsy one, but it didn't have this look of these lines that I gave Blind Shot. I really like drawing blind. Here's one that's just straight up weird, a Pulse. I don't know why I drew this, but this is a weird drawing. Here's one that I had for a long time and kept on using. I'm not a big fan of this drawing. Obviously it's got that thing, but the shading, he doesn't have a hook nose. He has like a more of a flat nose. Here's one that's just completely, you might find this, but his hair is on point. I do have this expression in. This is closer to my ending art style, and probably at this point getting near the end. Here's one that I did a quick sketch. I thought I liked the pose. Got the leg All right, I really like this one too. You can see that like I'm getting better with the thickness of clothes. Still not doing like a good like clothing fold like this stuff, but still like much better anatomy, much better vision of what I saw in Pulse, but still pretty good. This one I want to talk about. This was when things started to click for me. I was like, oh, you know, like this was the first drawing, like, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite drawings of Sunray. It looks so good. I like her body. And also the symbol, the new symbol, instead of having the red cross, which would get me in trouble. It probably wouldn't get me in trouble, but I don't want to try to test my luck. That sounds like a bad idea. But I made it bandages, so you know she's a health professional, or she's got some band-aids on her. I did add like the sun, like flames at the end of it, and also flip these around, but these were my favorite part. I also gave her dark lipstick, which will stay as the constant. And I also gave her this jacket, and I like the jacket. And I also gave her clout goggles, or glasses, because I like him. I don't need everything to look super practical. And this was a lesson that I finally learned with this, is that I don't need things to look entirely practical with a superhero stuff. I need to have things that look cool. Some things can be practical, and I did design around that practicality. The reason why Sunray, a person that uses star power, is wearing black and have white gloves is because she can absorb as much sunlight as possible, but also reflect as much sunlight as possible. That's the reason. I thought of that. That was fun. But like just adding that gives her a little bit more personality, and I think that's awesome. Now this is a panel that I have. I'm not going to go into depths on what's happening because you should read the book, but this is probably one of my favorite panels ever. I mean, the anatomy is a little bit wrong because the nose goes down to here, but the ear goes up to here to down to here. So it's a little bit off, but I'm not going to give myself any problem about that. Yeah, this was probably one of my favorite panels. I loved the look of it. Everything just worked, and I was super happy because of it. I like the red highlights. I like the eye. I like everything. Okay, I can show this. This is promo art that I did. I also have this as a as like the actual technical banner to promote the stuff, where I have it at desk for art shows and or art festivals. They're really nice, and I'm pretty happy with this, and I'm gonna tear into it. The ear is still off. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get that ear right. The hair is a little bit The shading on the mouth is a little bit weird. I really like this weird hatching effect, and it looked the same, but it's all right. I liked this drawing, so I'm gonna criticize it. This was another one that I tried. I don't think this was nearly as good as my original. I liked the highlighting a little bit, but it did not, like, you barely can read this. My anatomy is not as iconic as the other one, with the simplicity of it just being three main colors: red, black, and white. It's so much better to just keep these three to make them stand out, and I took that to heart. Now, if you're unaware, you might recognize this drawing, and it's because this is in the back of the comic, where you can see Pulse is up for hire. Do I have anything else to say about it? Not really, but here's a little tidbit. I'm getting better at like cell shading and, you know, anatomy of the nose, anatomy of the face. It goes a little bit weird with the inwards, but overall it's a pretty good drawing. Here's a new updated look of Martimus Prime. I'm going to announce it right here because this is what I want him to look like. I wasn't happy with the original design, so I made it change some things. I did not keep these two things, but I did keep this kind of skin tight mesh. This one I'm pretty happy with. I like this one. I like how blockade looks. I like how this was what I was thinking the microtones were gonna look like, and I was pretty satisfied, and I used them as the shading for the book. But the book does not look as well as this and doesn't have this same look, and it kind of looks a little bit off-putting. So do you know what I did? I'm not using microtones anymore for shading. They work well with black monochromatic, don't get me wrong, but they don't work in this scenario, so I'm gonna I axed it. Here's one of Sunray. I like this one. I like the overall anatomy. Here's what I was talking about. The white. This is using them like this is what our powers look like, but this is what I was talking about. The light, so it reflects the most, and have the black absorb as much sunlight as possible. And as you can see, I'm no longer using the. I'm just using a multiply layer for my art, and it looks significantly better. Here's one of Fast Tap. I like this one. I'm using some like interesting shader stuff because I wanted to try it. The shoulder looks a little bit weird. This isn't one of my favorites, and we'll get to one of my favorites. Trust me, this is gonna get good. The art here is gonna get good, I promise you. And overall, this was pretty alright. Here's one that I really like. This one I was considering to be a promo piece, but I really like this look of Pulse. The clothing folds are pretty good. The anatomy is pretty sound. I like the blood look. I like the background. A lot of this stuff looks awesome. But this works only as like a character portrait. It might work as a poster. Let me know if you guys want this as a poster or anything as a poster. We get to this, I want to talk about some of these. So I don't know when this one came out, but this was one that I did recently. I think this one is alright. Not my favorite, but it was pretty good. I like this try with Fast Tap. Didn't keep it because the hairstyle is completely off and the anatomy is kind of weird. Since we haven't done many sidekick ones recently, here's probably one of my favorite, and was my Twitter profile pic for the longest time. This is my D&D character. Let's take a look at any. When did I make this? This was in December of 2024. We're past that point, but here's a little. Also, one that I really liked. This was one of my best works, and I'm super happy with it. I love it so much. This was such a great drawing. I'm not going to get too much into it. One that I drew. This was in 2025. You know, I like the coloring a little bit, but it's still got that microtone issue, and it's not my. It's a little bit weird with the face style. I don't know who this is, but whatever. I tried to make it more like Bleach, and I kind of like the look of this, even though it's super dried out, and I don't know why. I'm still holding this up, but I'm just did it. So I like that. Let's look at some other stuff. Here's one of me trying to do. Here's something that I really liked. This was an idea for. This was after the comic book. These are all post issue 1. Here's a rework design, and has been the standard to keep for Intel. This is one of my favorite drawings ever. I love how he looks. I love the chin. I love the jaw. here's the first ever iteration intel. And here's the turn. And I'm super happy about this result. I gave him more of a faceplate. I aged them up a little bit. I gave him a much more angular jawline. Perfect. Absolutely. But here's one of Pulse that I tried to do. I kind of like this one. I like the motion. This was me trying to experiment with potion. I wasn't really caring about the face, but I was trying to show that, like, hey, I'm doing a shot. This is a Pulse where I just made his entire face flat, and I don't know why I was continuing with that. Here we go. All right, so this is just a bunch of doodles that I did of Pulse, and where most of the thumbnail is gonna go. Here's this is just Pulse. This is Pulse in a Miku costume. These were all in a car because I was moving and someone was driving during the time, so I just did a bunch of. This is Pulse at a Kesha concert. This was, I guess I linked his name, his age, but whatever. This is Pulse in a secretary outfit. These were fun to do. I just bumped the microphone so freaking hard. I posted these. Yeah, I like these. This one I think I liked more because it was just weirder. I really like this one. I just like the hat. The hat carries it. I was making the jokes of those people that are training with the hat. So there's some more. Just some more doodles. And then here's the last bit of stuff. Here's a drawing that I did of Pulse. Close up. Close up. Because you didn't see all of it. Back. You know, here's one I'm gonna. Yeah, whatever. I drew a bunch of women. Perish! I command you to perish! Perish! Here are some quick doodles that I did of the characters. None of them are Pulse, but they were kind of fun. Here's one that I drew that made Pulse Blockade look like he was trying to imitate the Chad one. Probably because I was trying to make him imitate the Chad one. Here's a quick drawing exercise that I did of like Pulse in different styles. It was still like some interesting stuff, and I don't think that these art styles are entirely good, but I like it. I do kind of like this. I do kind of like this last row. Not really these two, but just this one. I think the best adaptation is probably maybe none of these are pretty good, and this actually kind of leads me to a really good next part. Let's get into some other stuff, like doing it. I'm not done with this. I think it was gonna be cool, and you know what? I've been away for like 3 weeks, so I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna keep on doing it. But before we doing this, here is my last monolith of Pulses. These are better, and why I kind of brought it up is because I just did that experience. I think that this was a better. Can you read? Yeah, I think that these were better in terms of adaptation and like actually identifying. I was really proud of it, and I really liked the overall look of it. It made me feel like a better artist when going into it. Now we're gonna actually go back in time and finish up this. Obviously, here's one you kind of had this showing. This was I like this one. This was in the nomination of making it as the banner, but it's a little bit complicated and you barely can read the end. I like this one. This one was cool. Anatomy is all right, but I like this one. This one was fun. Before I get into this is probably one of the best drawings I have ever made. And it's a reference piece of Vogue and trying to imitate the Hirohito's Araki's art style. The lighting, the anatomy, the lines, the consistency, just everything about this was a bit amazing. This was one of my favorite. It makes fun of it's obviously imitating a art map, and I really liked it. Now here is me taking the lessons I've learned and seeing, okay, this is what the next comic book is gonna look like, maybe with a little bit less hatching, but a little bit more lighting. I really like this one. This one looks pretty good. I am doing this one. He might look a little bit oily, but overall it's still a much better improvement than the other ones. And I really like it. This one's pretty good. You know, the anatomy's a little bit off, but I still love this art stuff. This turnout. This one looked really good for me, and I'm really happy on just changing like the rendering is so much more cleaner overall. Here's one that I like of Martimus Prime, and this is the final iteration of Martimus Prime is going to look because I gave him an MP on the front. This is another one of Blind Shot, and most likely the final design of she has an Aces logo up there, but you can't see it except for this part and this part. I like this design. I like the coloring. It was pretty cool. This one I also liked. It was a little bit more abstract. I have more dynamic poses. I have better lighting. You can actually see what's going on. And the final thing is this drawing that I made for the announcement for the comic book being on Global Comics. I really love this art. This was amazing, and I'm really proud of it. And this is the last drawing. This is one that I made a couple days ago. The link to the comic book will be down below. It is free. The entire book is free. All I would ask you to do, if you want to read it, is to read it and share it with your friends if you enjoy it. It's not going to look like this. Be warned. It's going to look more like this area of art. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not as good as this. But I hope you guys try it out. I hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned because I'm still working on it. I was really hoping to be done, but there's just a lot of complications that got in the way. And I'm still really happy for getting the opportunity to do this. Thank you guys for watching. This will be one of the videos. I wanted to make a much easier video before the other videos come out because they're taking a lot longer than intended because I'm doing some weirdo shit going on right now, and I'm also releasing a comic book. I'll try to keep shorter vids, or try to keep shorter to produce videos, but this is going to be the books for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Take care.